Good afternoon from this part of the world. We're in Lagos, Nigeria, and it's a pleasure to be here on another edition of Audio Police, City of Audio, where there's either noise or music or sound. Everything about audio is what we discuss on this show today. And of course, it's my pleasure because to invite every one of you looking at us today and hearing me, it's my pleasure to welcome you to Audio Police. This is your refreshing radio, digit 1024. Of course, on this radio station, you know that you have everything that has to do with refreshing content, particularly on Audio Police. We educate. Of course, if you want to join the show, and of course you want to be part of this show, for those who are watching us or watching me, you could comment on our Facebook Live, Digit Sound Solution Facebook Live. I will surely read your comment if I see them. Of course, you can log on to www.digits1024radio.com. Again, www.digits1024radio.com. Of course, we also have an app. You can listen to us directly from there. Refreshing content all the way from your Google Play Store. Just look for Digit 1024. Download the app, and you will be listening to us. You could also call to be part of this show. Just dial 080-988-1024. If you're outside the country, just have +234 809-888-1024. It's sure going to be a very exciting show today because I have an exciting guest, a master class. In fact, a guru. As he's looking at, as you are looking at, for those who can see him, you can already feel some things, you know. But he's going to introduce himself by himself. All right. So, please let me allow my guest to introduce himself. Say your market.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Allwell Obi. Thank you so much for having me. I'm a music producer, music director, arranger, composer, music educator, and a whole lot of things related to music making, of which I've done for over 19 years and counting. So it's music all the way. I represent music. I sleep music. I eat music.
Hey, you see that his head is speaking A clef. The key on his head is A clef. His finger is F sharp major sus. You know, all those things. For those who know, you know what I'm talking about. It's a pleasure to have you here, Allwell. It's very good pleasure. You know, I promised you that on this show we're going to be having guests who their opinions and what they say about our topic will really make a lot of sense to you. So I urge you, music producers, sound engineers, audio consultants, ministers, pastors, singers, musicians, get in here. What we're about to say, what we're about to talk about today, I'm sure it's going to make a lot of sense to you. So today's topic it's all about the human voice. What you need to know about the human voice. If you can talk to me, that means you have a voice. Shout out to all those who are probably disadvantaged there out there. Maybe you're somehow you are, what do they call them? Dumb, or not being able to speak. I prophesy your voice will come back. Amen. So today we are all going to be saying some things about the human voice. Time is not always our friend, but we'll try to do some justice about this topic. And I know that the voice is very important to everybody. So far you're in the world of audio, I think the voice is very important for you. And some of the things we're going to share today would, I guess it will make a lot of difference in what you have heard so far. So, tell me, because I know that I don't even know how many choir groups that you have managed in your over 15, 17 years experience, how would you see the importance of this human voice how important is it in all your journeys, in all your time of experience? How do you think people have managed the human voice with everyone who uses it?
Okay, the human voice is a very dynamic instrument. The human voice epitomizes the character of a person. So when a child comes to the earth, the first thing we want to hear is the baby cry.
Yeah, cry.
So if the baby is not crying, there's a problem. So they either do something to make sure the baby cries, and once that sound comes out, okay, this child is alive. So the fact that someone has a voice shows the person is actually alive, and it represents a lot. So, in my work,
your voice is your life.
Yes, your voice is your life. Your voice is your identity. Your voice is your personality. Your voice, I remembered when Isaac wanted to bless his children. Isaac. He had to identify Esau.
See, Clef is going the ministerial way now. Prophesy.
He had to identify. He was trying to identify Esau with the voice, and all the stories in the Bible. So that talks about the importance of the human voice and how it represents us. You can hear somebody's voice and you just conclude this person has this kind of temperament because the way the person speaks. So you can actually say this person is a weakling. You could want to place the person in a particular category because of the sound of the person's voice. And sometimes you may not have met someone, but once you hear the person's voice, you just try to this person is a very nice person. So the voice means a whole lot to people. So the voice is one of the first. In fact, the voice is the first instrument that's we have as human beings.
Exactly. I was just about to hit that note that for me, the human voice is the first musical instrument. In fact, just jot it down. The human voice, your voice is like a music instrument. In fact, I think that in the wisdom of God, almost all available music instruments of the world probably took a cue from the way the human voice is. For those who play the keyboard, and I'm sure that all can testify of that, you have tones on the keyboard that are actually, designed towards the similitude of the human voice. So you have like voice pads, and all that. So it's to tell you that the human voice is a musical instrument. Well, for those who do, for musicians or singers, because I know that they may be different, how important is the human voice to the singer? How important is the human voice to the preacher or to the musician or to the audio, whichever one we want to pick as it affects? I think, before we go there, I think that I have categorized the human voice for different functionalities. One, you have the speaking voice. Yeah. You have the singing voice. You have the conversing voice. You have the reading voice. You have the artistic voice. And don't go anywhere. I'm sure that as we begin to talk, I'll be able to pinpoint, because there's a difference in all this. The conversing voice, maybe I should quickly say some things about that. The conversing voice is how you talk daily. You're speaking with somebody and you can talk. The speaking voice is beyond conversing. It's like it's not. It may not be a two-way communication anymore. It's just that you're speaking. You're probably speaking on the phone or speaking to this motivational speaker. Maybe preachers come under this speaking voice. The reading voice. You may not agree with me, but when you want to read a news or you want to read a newspaper or your teacher tells you, stand up, read this, you can be sure the voice you use in conversing will probably be different from the voice you're using in reading, because you also need to take when you're reading, you need to take note of punctuation marks, commas, full stop, and all that. So your reading voice is a little bit different from the speaking and the conversing voice, and of course the singing voice, the voice that you used to say, those ones come. The tonic suffers begin to walk, around that part. The artistic voice is probably that part where the ones that it may not be your real voice. This is not my real face, but this is not. Sometimes it may not be your real voice. Some of these voiceover artists, it's not their real voice. So that's the artistic voice. I'm sure you're learning something about this, all the human voice with various functionality. It's important to know these differences and know how to apply them. But so back to my question, how is the human voice important for you as a producer? You produce singers, you produce people come to make music. Pick that note in your mind, in your head. You can actually, your voice will.
It's just like when I say, if I ask you how are you, your mind is already telling you you're supposed to say fine. Then you hear fine in your mind, then you say it, then that's conversation.
It's complete. That's
complete.
Yeah.
So when you hear a sound and someone is saying do re mi, and you're saying so you're not able to communicate back that sound that has been given to you. You're not able to replicate it back. So we call that tone deafness. So in visual art, we call that color blindness. When you're not able to
tone deafness. Tone deafness.
You cannot articulate the tonality or the individuality of a note.
And one of the reasons for this tone deafness is ear. Remember our first episode? Ear.
So once the ear, the ear is actually the foundation of musicianship.
Bam.
So it's basically garbage in, garbage out. Once I don't have enough in my mind to store, enough good information of good music, enough good experience of the music I've sung in the past, I cannot be able to replicate that, spontaneously. So I think that is the major challenge. So what I think people should go back to listening. The Bible even said, "Be quick to hear, slow to speak." So what is saying that
that's why you have more. 2 ears.
We have 2 ears and 1 mouth. So we have to listen more. So if a singer has a listen regime, that you listen actively to some certain kind of music. If you look at touts,
not just singers, musicians.
I mean, definitely.
Everyone that has to do with anything audio.
Yes, audio. Yeah. Your ear is your greatest, strength, your ability to actually hear. So that with that in place, I think rehearsals and stuffs that has to do with music.
Of course, great things, great stuff, great things coming out from here. We're still talking about the human voice. We'll be going on a very short break, and we'll be back with more things about the human hair. Like I said, you can join us if you are watching me or hearing me and you think that you have somebody who needs to be hearing what we are saying. Quickly call them, because after this short break we'll be going on fire. It's still your refreshing radio, digit 1024. We'll be right back. It's good to be back here again. This is your audio Police. We are powerfully sponsored by Digit Sound Solutions, live sound at its best. Today we've been talking and speaking with my guest, the masterclass himself, CEO Eclef Music, Allwell Obi. It has been exciting because we have been dealing with what you need to know about the human voice. And if you're just joining us, you have missed, something. But I'm sure that we're going to continue on a very high note. So, a few information I'm going to drop before we end the show. Just remind me, but we want to go further because we're dealing with the human voice, and particularly for singers, those who actually make use of their voice. So in my little knowledge, the singing voice, those who are in the choir, those who use their voices, I think that there's this thing they call in music, they are divided into parts. And I know that a lot of people just know like the four major parts: the soprano, the alto, the tenor, the bass. But I found out that these parts are actually more than four. And I want Allwell, our professor here, to break it down. How many parts do we actually have? And because I hear people talking about contra alto, mezza soprano, baritone. Is there a difference between bass and baritone? All these things. So help us break it down. How do you know? Maybe somebody will be hearing us, and I am sure many singers are confused. I'm not talking about those of you who sing in the toilet. Those I'm talking about in the bedroom. I'm talking about those who sing in the choir. Many people are still confused where they actually fit in. Is it right for somebody to say, "I sing alto"? I see that. I sing alto. And I'm a natural alto singer. So they just come and then. But when you hear them sing, you feel that this range is not even an alto. It's somewhere. So help us to put some clear, because I know you know so much about that part.
Yes. So God designed everybody differently. We all have different throat sizes, we all have different heads,
vocal cords,
we all have different body structures, and our build actually generically determines what our parts will be. So simply put, like you said before,
so if I have 6 pack, I feel 6 or so.
Well, our formation as people, our shape, and it determines the kind of voice that we sing. So there's really nothing like I'm a natural soprano, I'm a natural alto, natural tenor, or some people even say treble. So I need to just actually correct some of these things.
Please go ahead.
Let me start from the one that's bastardly used, which is treble. Treble is a part that is sung by either boys or girls, small boys and girls with high voices. So when we have adults, there's nothing like treble in that department. So when I hear people, they say sing treble, maybe what they mean is sing the melody of the music. The melody of the music is not treble. So that is when it comes to singing. I believe that in audio, sound engineering, treble would also mean something else.
Yeah.
So let me just correct that. Then secondly, when you hear soprano in a 4-part setting, shortly, they call it SATB, S-A-T-B. That's soprano, alto, tenor, bass. Soprano is basically the highest.
Jot things down, brethren. We jotting.
It's basically the highest part in a music, and the melody of the music can go anywhere. So if that part is the highest in the music, that is the soprano part. You understand? Followed by, and of course it's sung by ladies with high voices. You understand? And these parts have a particular range. I wish there was a keyboard that would have shown us. I know the soprano sings basically from the middle C to the A above octave middle C. So that's the range of the soprano part. Then the alto follows. The alto is the next part, which is the part sung by ladies with high voices. And the range is from the G below middle C to
G below middle C
to the A octave middle C.
Right.
Then after that we have the tenor parts following. The tenor sings the C, the octave below middle C to F above the middle C.
Right.
Then finally we have bass, which sings G below 2 octaves down middle C to middle C. Now the reasons why as music directors we need to know these ranges, it helps us place people on their different parts, so that I'm not putting you in soprano because you're the most beautiful.
Exactly.
Because I have a very beautiful voice and you crack your voice.
Yeah.
Because you're singing above your range. So in that way everybody falls in place. Now when you talk about the other parts like mezzo soprano, we talk about the coloratura soprano, the lyrical soprano.
Yeah.
These different parts exist within classical setting. Now remember that in the history of classical music, when they didn't have microphones, so everybody could they sang in halls, so people could just project over hundreds and thousands of people, just like Jesus Christ even used a microphone. So he could just
Jesus
project.
Singing mezza, soprano, alto.
So the point is they were able to
me.
use their voice, naturally, and they project these things, and people hear them. But in pop music, because most of the things we do are amplified, so people get to use microphones and they're not able to actually project as they could. So let me not deviate so much. So we're talking about mezzo soprano, then we talk about contra alto, then we talk about countertenor, we talk about baritone. So these parts are actually in the midsection. So let's say after you have soprano,
between soprano and
there's a mezzo soprano.
Before the alto.
Then alto, you have contra alto, then you have tenor, then after tenor, counter tenor, then you have baritone, and after that you have bass. Even bass, you have lyrical bass and you have profondo bass. So these are different classifications of, and some of these ranges are not even too much, but they have to be classified, so that if you're a profondo bass,
you will appreciate all this probably in an orchestra.
Classical setting, in an operatic setting where you have different people singing different parts, and so it's seen in that. But in pop music, basically what you see there is soprano, alto,
so question. I mean, we are learning from here that you can't just say I sing alto. No, stop saying that. I sing alto. All of you that are seeing me, that are watching me and listening to me, you know yourself. I sing soprano. I sing stuff. So can a lady, by the virtue of her vocal cord, can she sing maybe a baritone or a tenor piece? Judging from, because she's and vice versa. A guy who sings I don't want to say guy who sings tenor, but probably you have a piece and then the guy is singing soprano. I mean, is that possible?
Yes, it's possible, but it's very rare. I've worked with ladies that sing tenor,
right? But not bad.
No, I'm yet to see. I hope I won't faint today. I say lady singing
what
bass.
Could be responsible for that? Because I'm trying to take some things out from there.
Yeah, I believe what's responsible, like I said, is the shape of the body, the shape of the throat, because the throat is basically the resonator, the throat and the mouth. So if the larynx and the vocal cavities, if it's shaped in a certain way that has much of the male design, there's a tendency that a lady could actually sing something low. I know Toni Braxton actually sings low, even though there are some people that can actually sing both ranges. They are able to explore their low ranges and they are still able to sing high. Some by virtue of training.
Just a quick one. For the audio engineers, you see, for the female singers, natural voice range in terms of frequency, the frequency ranges from like the male is from like 80 hertz, 85 hertz, because and that's in support of what he's saying. Usually the way the male voice and the vocal cavity and all that are, the diaphragm and everything, because you have a diaphragm inside all this your vocal stuff, so the natural range is between 85 hertz to 180 hertz. For the female, it starts from like 165 hertz to almost like maybe 200 or 250 thereabout. And so you know that, okay, the natural male that comes to this earth, is usually on that low side, and that's why it will be very difficult, because the bass part, the baritone, the bass part are usually, you find those frequencies, on the beginning side of your audio spectrum. That's when our main audio spectrum here is between 20 hertz and 20 kilohertz. So when you look at this is a representation of our equalizer, and you can see it from 20 to 20 hertz. So just break this into 4. When you cut this into 4, you begin to understand the bass part, the tenor part, the alto, and the soprano. And just like in their mid ranges, we begin to understand the baritone, the alto tenor, the and all that.
So we have 12 different keys in music.
Yeah.
Of which each of those 12 keys have a major scale, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. So, and as we move from a key to another key,
right,
in ascending order, the range keep increasing.
Right.
Keep increasing. So there is a certain range or series of notes that these singers are able to sing effortlessly. That say, okay, this person falls under this range. There are some songs too that would bring out, because those songs have those high notes. So once you give them those songs, they're able to, like if I tell a singer, sing, I sing because I'm happy, and I keep telling you to move, maybe another key, and I keep singing, and I keep moving to those keys, I'll be able to see your limits. And like, this person is having strain
looking
here.
at the low limits and the
high.
high.
You understand? So I'm able to check and benchmark. Okay, what is this person going to fit best in? And with that way, I'm able to. Because the truth is, I always tell people that the audition process is very important. If the audition is wrong, then everything cannot be right. So I think everything begins from the audition. So we know, okay, this is the best you can do, because every song presents itself in that way. You always have the division of these parts. You always have someone that is singing highest, followed by another person. So it happens. So if the foundation is wrong and the person is not in the right parts, you always have issues, and you keep reducing the key, and you keep reducing the key.
Absolutely. I think from what we have said, some of you know the reason why your choir doesn't sing well. or your song doesn't sound right. Because some of these things are the things that you need to know. You have not, there's also mastering and mixing in terms of vocal arrangement. Very key, very important. You wanted to say something?
Yeah, I want to quickly add that sometimes you hear choir sing songs, and you'll be wondering that why is that this song doesn't have much power, like the way I heard it. It's because, let's say the sopranos are not real sopranos, and they have to reduce the key,
exactly,
of which affects the intensity and the power of that song, and it just changes the attitude,
the feel of
you
the song.
understand? It's just like diluting a Coke. You just pour water. That's actually what happens. It loses the sweetness.
Absolutely.
So when I look at choristers, and every time they have to reduce the key, and you're happy, but it's not helping the song.
Because you want to sing comfortably.
Yes, they want to sing comfortably. Just put people in their right parts, and let the sopranos be there. Let the altos sing, and if everybody are in their right ranges, everybody will sing.
Absolutely. It's been fantastic on the show today. Plenty things that are dropping. Mezza soprano, contra, plenty things. I think I really believe that those of us who have listened to us, and probably you're just watching this video after now, please drop your comments, ask your questions. We will try to give answers to it. For those of us who think some people who need this information, by all means, please share the video. Follow us on all social media at Digit1024, at Digit Sound also. I promise that a few things that I said that I would share with you about your voice, but Fortunately, time is not our friend anymore today, but I think that some of the things that we have shared on this show today concerning the human voice, I think that you have learned a lot from them. Of course, we will try our best possible to continually to give you, our listeners and our viewers, educating content. It's all about audio and the city of audio. It's been a pleasure having you here, Allwell. Yeah, I'm sure that I'm going to bring you back again. Allwell is, a professional to the core, and has various sides of him. We have only taken that this, choir side. When we begin to deal with other parts, his musicianship, you will know that we have hosted somebody great today. It's been a pleasure to have you on the show today. Please don't forget to follow us on all our social media platforms, and when you have any questions, be free to be able to contact me or even drop a DM at Gboyega Ogunnubi on all social media platforms. On this show and on this station, we say a positive mindset is all that we need for a better society. Oh well, that's what we say. Think positive. Speak positive.
And remain optimistic.
To refresh Nigeria. All right. So it's today we had the announcement of I don't want to say a deadly virus that have been going on, and all that. All we can say on this show is for you to think positive. Be positive about Corona. It shall not kill you or kill us.
Yes. Amen.
All right. So we'll catch you same time, same station. Bye.